What's up, dedicated Dragon Ball denizens? I'm Brian, and we're here for another episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. This time, we finally got another deck from the FB06 era. We're going to, actually, it's really our first one. It's like a non-starter deck, right? We're going to go over Android 18. This is one I've wanted to build. You know, I don't play red very often. The only one I really liked was the UI Goku, which wasn't great. But solid anyway. So we're going to go through Android 18 and the deck I built. This one is actually built around Iceloom's list, which I think most of them are nowadays, but with some changes in there for that. So we'll go over each card in the deck, why I include it. We'll get into the strategy, strengths, and weaknesses of the deck, in my opinion, and then we'll go through some other cards to consider swapping in. So let's get into it. Alright, and we see the deck list up on the left-hand side. It's actually a pretty simple list. We've got 4 of mostly everything, with a few 3 ofs in there that we'll go over as we're getting into this. So let's go. So first off is the leader, Android 18, a 15k leader. Really basic on the front side. When attacking, draw a card, and then on the flip is going to be a 20k attacker. When attacking, still draw a card, and then you get the activate battle your turn once per turn. There are cards that with Android in their special traits that are in a battle get 20k power for the battle. So not bad. You can basically add 20,000 power to any battle card. The only downside about this is they have to be attacking another battle card, which in my opinion just really limits this leader. I don't quite understand why they didn't just let you get 20k when attacking anybody. I guess the logic is maybe you're going to have a 30 or a 40k that can go up to 60 easily, but come on. It really limits because sometimes your opponent just doesn't have a field at all, and now I can't use my ability. I really don't like leaders where there's just so many opportunities where you can't use their leader ability for the turn. So that's pretty frustrating. But, you know, it is what it is. I think the leader would be way better if you could. But, you know, it is what it is, like I said. Okay, so let's get into some of the battle cards. We'll mostly go in order. We have the basic cantrip of Android 18. This one you do want to use, because you know what? You can use the leader skill on this Android. So if you're, a lot of times it's, not always, but there's often times where you can choose whatever cantrip you want. Definitely want to go with Android 18. Okay, and then we've got Dr. Flappe. This one's another one that is, in my opinion, a must-have in this deck. It's a 5k power, 10k combo, so the 10k is nice, but you really don't want to use that until it's on the field, because on play, if your leader is awakened, and one small downside, you can add up to 1 red battle card with the cost of 3 or less in Android and special traits from drop to your hand. And we have a couple really good 3 drops that you're going to want to be pulling out, mainly the Android 16, which we'll go over soon. So this one's a definite 4, right? Now this one is a Self-Awakener. Not like the biggest fan of this card in this deck, to be honest, but we do need some Self-Awakeners in here. I actually, on the client, don't have any hit, which I think hit is a little bit better one of going with, and we'll talk about that in the other cards, but I don't have any, and I don't want to use any wild cards on it because I don't think it's that worth it. I don't have a ton of wild cards right now either. So I threw in 3 of the Goku mini DAs. Still a solid one. You know, it's a 30k body when you're awakened. I just don't like that I can't play him at all once I'm awakened, but you know, he does turn into a 10k combo in hand. Okay, so that's one of my Self-Awakeners and one of 2. Then we have Android 14. Now, this one's one I think a lot of lists aren't including. So this one's one to think about, like, do I want it, don't I? But I like this card. Choose a battle card in your opponent's area, and it gets minus 10k for the turn. So that's pretty solid. What's that, like a Fuwa almost? He has 10k power base and then 10k combo power, so you can combo him. And then again, it's another target that if I want to use my Android 18's attack, leader skill on him, he becomes a 30k. So in my opinion, that's not bad. I like him. I do use him as an attacker sometimes because of that. Okay. Next up is another of our non-androids in there, the Gohan Adolescence. So this one's another Self-Awakener, and is also permanent your turn. He gets 5k power if you're awakened. So you add up to 1 card from your life when attacking, and minus 15k from an opponent body. Just a good card. I mean, initially I wasn't going to include him in the list, but he's just such a good card. You've just got to include him. Iceloom really gave me that on there, so a lot of credit. And then from there, I've got 2 of these Vegetas, 1 of each. Now, this one, honestly, I don't know how much I like this card in this deck. It's a good one for a finisher, obviously. But I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of this card. I'm trying to use it more, and I don't play a lot of red because a lot of red lists I see have it. So I'm like, okay, it's got to be good. But what this one is an interesting card. It is Vegeta. I love me some Vegeta. So when attacking, discard 2 cards from your hand till the end of your turn. This card can't be KO'd, and he gets 30k power. I thought that it was can't be removed from the battle. From the field, so that's an interesting one to think about for me. Make sure if I see one with Frieza, I can still remove him. Anyway, activate main once per turn, then you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with 25k power or less and KO it, then KO this card. So then obviously if you use that first ability of the when attacking, he can't be KO'd, so that's pretty good. So yeah, it is good. I mean, it's a good card. I just don't like the hand destruction there. Like I said, I think this is more of a finisher card because of that. But you know, it's in there. It's one I've used a couple times, so I won't say I haven't used it yet, but you know. Then next up we've got Android 16. Now this is one of the best cards in the deck, in my opinion. 20k attacker and a 10k combo, so not the craziest attacker, but you know, remember that you can use your leader skill to boost him to a 40k if you want. When KO, choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area, and it gets minus 20k for the turn. And then activate main is KO this card in a battle area, draw a card. So he does replace himself. And what I like about this is probably my favorite target for the Dr. Flappe, because you can grab him back. And what's cool about it too is, like, if I'm kind of on the verge of death, he is a 10k, so I'm going to draw him back in a pinch. If I really have to use him in a combo to save me and keep me alive, I will. But obviously you want to keep him, throw him on the field. Usually I'm just going to go ahead and attack leader with him, minus 20k from someone else, and let the rest of my battle cards fill in the blanks here. So this is a great card. I like it. Then from there we have the Android 17-18. Another 4 of, in my opinion. Choose all battle cards in your battle area. They get minus 10k for the turn. That's on play. So another 3k, 20k attacker with 5k combo. All right, now this one is another one that I see a lot less of, and I think this is a good card. It's a Self-Awakener, 10k combo. So it's another 20k 3-cost attacker. And maybe that's why, you know, a lot of lists don't have him, because this is our third 3-cost 20k body. But remember that we're going to be able to play him out for free with our Android 17 that we'll talk about soon. So the thing is about this card is I see why people don't include him because of his ability when attacking. So if attacking a battle card, choose 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area, and it gets minus 10k for the battle. So it's unfortunate that it has to be a battle card. This deck is really limited by that. Like, a lot of the effects, you know, we see Android 18's leader skill, and then a card like this where it has to be a battle card. Like, why can't I just attack leader and be able to minus 10k? I think this card would be so much better with it, but I still like it, okay? I still like this card. And then, okay, so let's talk about the weirdest card I included in this deck. And to be honest, I know that it's not the best card. I know that we should probably include the other secret rare UI Goku, but I like this card too much. And I'm determined to make it work, and I have won a few battles with this card as my finisher. So this is a 4k 30k body. It's the original secret rare Goku, right? So on play, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 15k for the turn. Not bad, you know, minus 15k. And then auto, when this card KOs an opponent's battle card, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So, really cool. I like this because you can. It kind of acts as a finisher in a way. It doesn't have the most attack power, but if you play it, minus 15k from a battle card, and you can get a battle card down to either 5 or 10k. Now, we're talking. You know, now we're talking, and you can actually kind of combo up a good amount. And even though he starts at 30, we're doing pretty good because we're attacking into a 5k body, and then you can deal that damage to your opponent. So it's kind of a fun way of winning. I initially got the idea because I really liked the field, right? The Android's field lets you attack unrested battle cards, but the caveat is that it had to be an Android attacking. So I'm like, oh man. So that would have been nice if you could get your UI Goku to attack an unrested card like a cantrip and just, you know, win you the battle like that. So that could be why they specified that. Maybe they thought of UI Goku, but I still want to make it work. It's kind of memey to me, so you know what, we're going to keep him in. I have him at 3 right now. We may reduce him to 2 at some point. I don't think I really need 3. Probably the best thing to do, which I may even do for the battles, is swap one of him for a double strike Goku. I'm probably going to do that, but you know, we'll see. Next up, we do have a one of Kefla. This is another one. So Ice Loom, I've heard him talk about getting rid of this one because it doesn't have many targets. But you know, it's a one of. You know, it's a one of. It's a 10k combo. Like if you use it, you use it, and if you don't, you combo it. And I've got 4 of the Gohans. So if I do, so I'm gonna keep it in for now as well. It does get 5k power upon awakening. We do get to draw a card on play. So on its own, it's still a solid card, even if you don't play a 3 or less from hand. But I think you can, and there's enough. I mean, there's 4 targets. It's okay. Well, we can do it. And then obviously we've got this one as the 4 of from the last Ultimate Battle. On play, if your leader has androids and its special traits, play a battle card with a cost of 3 or less an android in special traits from your hand. Pretty good. So that's how we're going to be playing out all of those other 3 costs that I talked about earlier. And we should always have a target in hand, unless we're down to like 2 in hand, because I have so many. Right, we either have 17, 18, we have the Gero, which is a little bit less seeing, and then my favorite one to play out is going to be the Android 16. And then when attacking, and if an opponent's battle card is KO'd in battle during this turn, this card gets 15k for the battle. So that's really nice, and ideally your attacking board, forcing your opponent to defend so he doesn't get that. But a lot of times, you know, it's out of their control, and then we can hit 40k, and usually I'm going to attack that one into the leader, unless they have a powerful body on the board that I want to do my best to get rid of. All right, and then we have this bad boy. Another one that I'm thinking, right now I'm at 3. I really thought when I made this deck that I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this guy a lot, and honestly, I don't. You know, I'm more often playing the playing the 4 cost into the 3, just for more bodies on the board. But if you do get your opponent where they've just got a really wide board, he's just so good to play. So we get it, right? So on play, he gets 25k power for the turn, so we're already at 30k, and then you can use our leader skill to get him 20k more. So he would be at 55k on play for that turn, and we can get him up to 75k. So that's going to make your opponent... I've seen opponents do some crazy things because they know that he is, as we see in the auto, when this card KOs an opponent's battle card, switch to active mode. I've seen my opponent just dump their hand to keep a battle card alive on that first hit just so that they can avoid losing their board. And to be honest, it oftentimes pays off. Like, I remember the first time I saw it, and I even comboed up. They had a card that I don't remember what, I just wanted to KO. I comboed up to 85. I said, I need to, I had a feeling they would want to defend it. And they sure did. They dropped 3 super combos and a bunch more. And I was like, what? And guess what? They ended up winning the game. They beat me. So it paid off. I was like, oh my gosh. So anyway, this card, it's interesting, but it's not quite as good as I thought. So I don't know. I mean, when I want to see it, I do want to see it. So it's why I'm at 3 right now. But I don't know. I may want to reduce that one down to 2 as well. Then from there, we've just got 4 of our super combos. I got to go on theme, so I'm playing Gero. And then I really like this card. This is over by. During this turn, if an opponent's battle card is KO'd, your leader is Android 18. Draw 2 cards. So not bad. Not bad at all. Strategy, strengths, and weaknesses of the deck. Strategy, keep the board clear, specifically your opponent's board, obviously. There's plenty of cards in this deck, and that's really the strength of the deck, is working on your opponent's board to keep it clear before you're going to go ahead and attack face, right? We have a lot of minus cards. We have a lot of cards that get bonuses for KOing an opponent's battle card. So that's kind of the strategy and the strength of the deck at the same time, right? So from there, you want to keep your hand size up if possible. The thing is that we're also in the strategy, it's kind of a dual thing, of wanting to play 17 and another Android card, right? So that's going to, but what that means is now you've lost 2 cards in a turn for that energy, right? So it's good and bad. So that means you really want to make sure that you're putting pressure on your opponent too. So by the time you're dropping those out, you really want to be attacking with both of them, in my opinion. Sometimes, you know, you think about, oh, should I leave this guy? Like I find earlier when I was testing this deck, like, oh man, I didn't KO an opponent's battle card before using 17, so I'm just going to keep 17 and not attack with him. And then I find my opponent removes him. So I'm like, okay, well, even if I don't get the bonus, I'm just going to go ahead and attack so that I could provide some pressure in either KO a battle card with 17's base power or cost my opponent something in hand. So that's the one thing I notice, is that my hand size, if I'm playing 2 cards for 4 energy a turn, then, and sometimes, you know, once I hit 6 energy, I may play like another 2 cost or something like that. So it's really affecting my hand size. So you want to focus on getting your opponent's hand size down as fast as yours, because this is a deck that can run out of steam, right? So to do it, also utilize your this is over by, right? The strengths, it hits board big. It hits boards very big because of all of the lost minus powers. You know, this guy is getting 15k if he KOs somebody, which you can hit the board or someone else. You know, you're obviously minusing with your Android 16, so there's a lot of minus power, and then it can really hit big. I guess I have that as a second strength on there. It's really a simple deck when it comes down to it. Like, it has a very straightforward strength, which is getting rid of opponent's board. But then that's kind of it. That's kind of all it does, right? Weaknesses, it's not great at face. So this, you don't have much that's going to help you hit big when you're just going straight at life, straight at your opponent's lead. And it has mid-level base power, right? We don't have a lot of cards. Like, I mean, we've got a 25k, and then other than that, I've got this guy and this guy at 30, and that's it. So that's an issue. So your opponent, you can like easily get out of hitting face with you know, super combos and things like that. So it means it's really important that when you play this guy out, that you're going to make sure that you're hitting a battle card that you can minus enough. I mean, obviously with him, he's got minus 15, so a 20 or a 25 is going to go down to 10, and that's 10 or 5, and that's pretty good. But if not, he might need some help to lower someone even more. You know, that's where, like, if I have 6, then you can play out him minus 10 and then minus 15 for a total of 25. You can get a 30 or a 35 pretty low with that, and then you can combo, if your opponent, if you can get him down to 1 life, then they may, you know, you could combo this bad boy away too for 10. So not bad. But that's it. It does have very mid-level base power, and it's also going to struggle versus barrier. I think, you know, if you're facing like a yellow Vegeta, I don't see any way to win that matchup, because this deck just can't do what it's made to do and hit base. You know, if you included the field, which, you know, I honestly still want field. Like, as much as crazy as I am, I know it costs 3. Like, I'm almost like not wanting to put the double strike and go down to 2 of these guys and 2 of these guys and just put 2 field. But, you know, this is a deck where I'm trying to have fun with. I know it's going to have just terrible matchups, but honestly, that would give you a chance against Barrier, especially considering if those Friezas against yellow, you know, this guy comes in at 75. Like, do you want to defend that Secret Rare Frieza? Wait till your opponent has 2 of them on board, and let's see what they want to do. So it does give it a chance. And, I mean... I'm getting all kinds of thoughts rolling through my mind as I'm doing this, so I may add those fields in, okay, for the battle, and we're going to do it. So, anyway. Now, in terms of some other cards to consider, I would definitely say Hit, honestly. Like, so some of the lists I have both Hit and the Goku, but they don't have my Android 20, right? The Dr. Gero, or is it 21? I don't remember. Anyway, I like Hit more than any of the 2. I mean, more than the Kid Goku DA. So I'd probably remove him for this guy. But you can maybe, if you really like both of them, you can put this guy in instead. But that's just me. I would go with Hit 3 of over the Goku if I could. Speaking of Goku, the OG Double Strike, this one's in most lists I see. This is a really good card. As I said, I was thinking about putting one in for one of the UI Gokus that I have the 4 cost. So you can do that, or you can do what I might do and put in Bleak Future. Obviously, if you want to just boom eliminate the 4 cost, then this 6 cost is honestly probably the better card and probably what you should do in the deck. But you know, or you could be like me and you want to be Mimi and do that. So that's what you would do. In terms of extras, you know, I actually my initial list had this one in it. I like this card, especially. You know, you can save a battle card. Like, for example, maybe... So let's read the effect real quick. So it is activate battle opponent's turn. Choose your leader, or up to one of your battle cards, and gets 20k power for the battle. Then if the chosen card is a battle card, it can't be KO'd in battle for the turn. So I like that because it can kind of save some of those cards that your opponent's attacking into. Like your Android, the Fusion Android 13, or maybe even your... 4-cost UI Goku, and then it like kind of like lets them, they either have to use something to remove it, or they just can't KO it. So it's a nice protection for your cards. What I noticed and why I removed it is I just didn't have a lot of reason to like keep 1 energy at the end of my turn. I feel like the draw card is a lot better than that one, so I kind of removed it. The other one would be Margarita, to maybe remove the Android 14. In fact, I went down to 3 of those guys for some reason in the deck. So Margarita is one to think about. In essence, it kind of does the same thing because it pluses 10 and then the other minuses. But obviously the plus 10 is arguably better because... then you can go ahead and use that on the leader, whereas the 14's minus 10 only goes to a battle card. The reason that I like 14 is because I can still attack with him and go up to a 30k. But then we have Margarita, who's only a 1 cost compared to a 2 cost. So there's a lot of pluses and minuses, and I think for the most part people are going with Margarita because in you know, on paper she looks better. And especially considering Margarita is just one of the best cards to go for game out there. But, you know, I gotta be on theme. And then finally is going to be Bleak Future. Another card that I like. You know, I mean, the deck was made for this card. You know, it was really made, especially when we see all of these things. Like, this is a deck that's meant to go and destroy your opponent's board. I think the problem is it just costs too much. Like, if this was a 2-cost card, easy include. If it's a 1-cost, oh my god. I mean, I just don't really get it. Like, I don't get why it was a 3-cost. You know, like, for example, we have Super Baby, and it's kind of does a reverse effect, right? You can combo your rest cards, and that's just a leader skill. So I don't really get why this had to be a field. I mean, I guess it would have been OP to like give a bonus and that, but if this didn't have to be a 3-cost. This did not have to be a 3-cost. and that's really what kills it. By the time we get to 3, like, we want to start pressuring our opponent. They may be awakened, we may be awakening that turn. This should have been a 2. I still like it, but it just feels like such a wasted turn to throw this out there and then say, okay, that's it. But I think it still has its uses, and I'm going to do some tests with it. Alright, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Hope you enjoyed this episode this time. Hope you are enjoying these battle cards. So this one's definitely, one where we're going to revisit this deck for the manga set. The Android 18 gets a lot more support. We also have Cell coming in as another Android. We'll see which of those two is the better deck. I don't know, I kind of feel like Cell might be a little better, but then sometimes I feel like maybe Android 18 will. There's a lot of cards. I didn't include any of the manga set new cards in terms of other cards to consider, because I'd like to just wait and test things out, and we'll have another version of this deck at some point when the manga set drops. And if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button and become part of the Hawks Nest, a fearless flock of fabulous folks who love to do what we love. I love making these videos. I love making these decks. This one's far from a meta deck, but it is a fun deck. I've had a lot of fun playing it online, even when I don't win. But it's cool. So if you're not ready to fly yet, just hit that like button. We'll come up in an algorithm near you in the near future. But until then, we'll see you next time.